Guys, you know FaceApp, yeah? If you put in a photo of young Master Chief from one of the Halo 4 trailers, and you select the Hitman filter, you get Frank O'Connor. This is the true and canon Master Chief face reveal. Hey YouTube, Dandy here. Speaking of Frankie, about 3 weeks ago he made a post on Reddit trying to explain what went wrong with the MCC, and around the same time there was some livestream where Bonnie Ross went on about the upcoming update for the MCC, the first of which since March of last year. That update, by the way, did nothing to fix the game on a technical level, even though it's still littered with game-breaking bugs. The update instead castrated skill-based matchmaking to increase the likelihood of you finding a game. This means matching level 35s against level 50s, which was something that the broken matchmaking was already doing before it was programmed to do so. In the Reddit post and the livestream, especially the former, we just got a bunch of PR stuff. But that's PR stuff I'm here to talk about, so without further ado, let's start with the livestream.
Yeah, I hope, we always are listening to everything, the good, the bad, the ugly.
You are fake news.
But I don't think we always do a good job of communicating back on what we're hearing or not hearing.
Oh, you reckon, mate? Really? No shit. Pretty much every decision 343's made has communicated the idea that whenever the community bands together to voice their concerns, 343 would put more effort into sweeping the problem under the rug rather than fixing it or creating a product with an iota of quality or care. Every decision 343's made has communicated the idea that simple English is outside of their comprehension, leading to them not understanding what it means when the majority of the community says they don't like Sprint. Every decision 343's made has communicated the idea that they would rather follow boring market trends in a hopeless effort to attract customers who don't even care about Halo, rather than make a product that satisfies the people who somehow still trust them enough to give them money. Every decision 343's made has communicated the idea that they're a bunch of ignorant, indifferent, and incompetent chimpanzees.
They are only rivaled in their work ethic by yours truly. Expect my next video to come out when Halo follower commits to unbiased and accurate journalism.
And what you're hopefully seeing this last year is us trying to have more of a dialogue with fans versus talking at, and really trying to understand what's going on.
Alright, maybe. I have not noticed this, but if this is true, Halo 6 could end up being not a disaster. However, after years and years of 343's shenanigans, let's call it, I am smart enough to doubt this happening, regardless of how much 343 is willing to interact with the community.
We think about MCC a lot.
Oh yeah, I bet you do. In fact, I think you're relishing in the thoughts of how you are able to scam millions of consumers.
And so yeah, now is the time to talk about MCC.
Now? How about back when the game was still being played? Back when people were still willing to forgive you? Why wasn't that the time to talk about the MCC? This company is completely mental.
I heard from a lot of folks that they just wanted to know what was going on with the Master Chief Collection.
Well, that's one way to put it.
And I naively thought, hey, how can it be? I'm gonna walk.
We have been looking at when the right opportunity is to upgrade MCC, and when we do it to get the maximum benefit, we do feel that we want to move it to the latest platform updates so we can take advantage of all the great stuff that the Xbox platform team has done.
This shouldn't even be up for debate. The right time to upgrade the MCC was when the game still had players. Oh, and obviously upgrade is their PR term for fix. When you hear them say upgrade, they mean fix.
I don't see how fixing the game to coincide with the Xbox One X's newness is going to bring about the maximum benefit that they speak of because A,
no one is going to pick up a Zox to play a 3-year-old game that itself is compiled of even older games that was dead on arrival due to being non-functional. And yes, I'm still calling the Xbox One X the Zox. B, the Zox has a small install base due to recently launching, and this update is mainly for Zox owners. C, there's not going to be a lot of Zox owners deciding to go and pick up the MCC anyways. And D, The number of people playing the MCC right now, and those people, by the way, probably won't pick up a Zox, is less than the number of videos I've put out this year.
And MCC is 6 engines. It's not an easy thing to move over.
What? The Xbox One X and regular Xbox One both have the same architecture, same CPU, same games, same code, same files, same executables, same APIs. Nothing is being moved over when a developer creates an Xbox One X update for a game. Assuming no further optimization is needed, all a developer has to do is modify a single line of code that changes the render resolution. When you consider the fact that Halo 5 uses a dynamic resolution scaler, they could really just change that one line of code and let the dynamic resolution do the optimization for them. Bonnie Ross is making this out to be a monumental task, but it really isn't. But yeah, if 343 has been listening to the community's feedback for the past year, and will continue to listen, I'll concede it. That's a good change, and maybe it could lead to something great. Blah 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 blah, Xbox One X, Power of the Cloud did nothing, ESRAM did nothing, DirectX 12 did nothing, Xbox fanboys, shut up. Moving on to Frankie's Reddit post and just... wow, this is the ultimate disrespect. Anything would have been better than this.
And you know what, I don't necessarily think this is Frankie's fault. Seems like a nice guy. I'm more thinking that this is what his superiors told him to do. Regardless of Frankie's integrity, however, this statement is just appalling.
So at the start of the post, Frankie says that a couple of years ago, he promised to explain what the underlying issues with the MCC were. Well, it's been a couple years, and all we've gotten is this insufficient Reddit post. So the first 409 words of this post is just crap about how we aren't trying to make excuses, we care about the fans, But if that was true, you would have just respected our intelligence and went straight to the point instead of making us endure this obvious PR bullshit. Hell, if you cared about the fans, you would have made this statement on launch day. Frankie continues, from a personal perspective, the MCC launch was one of my lowest ebbs, professionally. Every angry mail I received, I took to heart. I felt like I had personally let our fans down. I have not spent a single day since the night the game fell down in matchmaking where I didn't think about it. Well, if you were constantly thinking about it, why didn't this reflect in any of 343's decisions? Why didn't you guys address, with quotation marks, the elephant in the room until now? Frankie is, after all, the franchise development director. But hey, maybe it's not his fault. Maybe he did try to get something done about the MCC, but Bonnie Ross won't let him.
Special K Nourish celebrates women who are breaking boundaries and nourishing what's next.
Yeah, nah, the only thing she's breaking is Halo. Frankie continues that the reason they didn't know the game wasn't going to work was because they had a flawed testing environment, which they didn't know was flawed. Don't lie to us, Frankie, I swear to God, you know that's bullshit, and you know we know that's bullshit. You guys were working on the Halo 5 beta around the same time. The MCC came out in November of 2014, and the Halo 5 beta the following month. The Halo 5 beta, itself branded as being unfinished code, hence being a beta that 343 was working on at the same time as the MCC, worked! Matchmaking worked! There weren't uneven teams or any of the other absurdities found in the MCC. Clearly, the beta didn't have a flawed testing environment, so how is this? Why would a developer create two distinct testing environments? The only logical explanation is that Halo 5's testing environment was different because they knew during development that the MCC's was flawed. They knew during development that the MCC wasn't going to work. Thus, they put their efforts into Halo 5's online infrastructure, and the MCC was abandoned before it even launched. Then he went on about how porting the games was a problem due to how different the consoles are, but no other developer had this issue. Every other developer was able to port their 360 and PS3 titles to the PS4 and Xbox back when the new systems launched, a year before the MCC came out, and being employed by Microsoft, 343 had full access to Microsoft's dev kits, documentation, engineers, etc. Second, the OG Xbox and the Xbox One X both use x86 architecture, and all three Xboxes run on Windows NT, so porting Halo 1 and 2 to the Xbox One should have been a piece of cake for them. Plus, 343 has demonstrated that they are able to effectively translate code between the x86 and PowerPC architectures, as Halo Anniversary was a working game. Thus, we can conclude that the MCC was a train wreck because 343 just didn't care. Anyways, scroll through the spam, you can read that if you want. Frankie says that the MCC compiled 6 different game engines together. That's not true, it was 5 but technically 6 different revisions of the same engine, blah 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 blah. And at the end he acknowledges that this PR statement provides no closure about the MCC, and then he says that we have to wait until next year to get some answers. Well, that's brilliant now, isn't it? The MCC comes out in 2014, and you have to wait until 2018 for the promise of 343 finally respecting their customers. And I predict that the 2018 statement will be yet another disaster. Let's compare this to the Battlefield 4 launch. DICE, by the way, was the only other developer to have messed up their game's launch this badly, making this a perfect comparison. So the game launches in 2013 across 5 platforms, and it's a mess. On launch day, DICE's general manager said,
I am less than proud that the game has experienced some turbulence during the launch period. While some platforms have had only minor problems, others have had more than their fair share of issues. Resolving the launch issues is our #1 priority. In fact, we are so serious that we have the entire team working to stabilize the game, and we will not move on to other projects until we are sure that Battlefield 4 meets and exceeds your expectations. It is the right thing to do.
EA themselves, EA, came out and said 2 months later, we're not moving on to future projects or expansions until we sort out all of the issues of Battlefield 4. Starting with November, every consecutive update they rolled out fixed the game for more and more people. By May of 2014, the game was universally functional. 7 months, yes, it is an unacceptable wait, but you should consider 2 things. 1. That it would have been playable for most people prior to May, and 2. It has been 36 months since the MCC launched, and it's still failing to work. 343 botched the MCC and refused to own up to it. Even now they've failed to make an apology because this Reddit post is a PR soap story. They ignored the game and everyone who bought it, and this is no more obvious than in the Halo 5 beta, which launched a mere month after the MCC and had perfectly functioning matchmaking. They should have halted all development on Halo 5 to fix the MCC as fast as possible, and now they should halt all development on Halo 6 to fix the plethora of issues with Halo 5 and the MCC. However, this is not something they would ever do. You know you're a bad company when EA cares more about the fans than you, when EA cares more about the quality of their product than you. I'm disgusted that after almost 3 years, this is what 343 has to say about the MCC. 343 has consistently messed up, but I genuinely thought that their statement on the MCC would still be better than this. 343 has lowered the bar in a way I never thought they would, but this is just the point Halo is at. Screw 343. This studio has consistently screwed the fans over, lied to them, made crappy games, made broken games, neglected over important issues, refused to listen to any criticism in the 10 years they've been a company, and they destroyed Halo's financial viability more and more with every decision they make. Giving them money kills Halo. If you are the least bit unhappy with how Halo is right now, send a message by boycotting 343 Industries. This will do eons more good for Halo than the continued existence of this studio.
This is Dandy telling you why 343 is not dandy. Peace.